connection issue. I think it might be something to do with the lobby. Unfortunately, sometimes that can happen.
I was in the first person gone to dry tyres. J-Bob, who's in last place, just put on softs.
Is he really? For dry tyres, and by that I mean it's still raining. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on board with Josh.
I am exactly on board with that person right now.
There we go.
Good battle this.
It certainly is. Yeah, very quick drivers. Napola's in there as well, so whether Dobby can get past John would be nice for him as well, because that was an extra couple of points. And with Fuzzer finding himself in P3 as it currently stands, I imagine Fuzzer will challenge for second for this race. I think first might be a bit too much of a push, but then again it all depends on when people... Oh, there we go, we've got a Red Bull. Was that, sorry, Toro Rosso, was that Napola? It certainly was Napola. He's had a bit of a wobble there and skidded into the wall, so it might be a tyre thing, it might be a bit of an issue, but he's lost his front wing. As we've got an on board now with Josh, John and Dobby are all going side by side, but they hold their positions nicely at the moment.
I just left that battle very quickly to have a look at J-Bob, and J-Bob has just gone off. He's not getting any. I think he's just gone too early on the soft.
Finding in the position that he was in and the time of, the distance he was behind, he might as well have taken the risk in his position.
Worth a gamble, yeah.
Certainly was. Now just on to another point where Josh McGill, where obviously he doesn't use assists, he can afford to brake a bit later into corners. Oh dear, Josh, we're on board with Josh, and he's lost half his front wing. He's had a bit of a skid.
So well as well.
Yeah, he certainly was. If you find some of the drivers now starting to lose a bit of grip, and I think it has actually stopped raining now. I think it's just the spray of the circuit. So yeah, it looks that way. So I would imagine give it 3-4 more laps, which is what I very fortunately predicted, and we might see some dry tyres to the end of the race. So strategy is going to be key, I think.
Yeah.
Who's got the biggest cojones?
Who's going to come in first?
Well, that is the question on everyone's lips.
J-Bob's just getting lapped by John at the moment.
Yeah, he needs to let the two guys through there. Good driving from J-Bob, well done.
Just can't find a way past John, can he? At the moment, Dobby.
John is such a good defensive driver. Anybody that's watching that hadn't seen it, I recommend going back to watching the Division 2, sorry no, it was the Division 1, the Division 1 Singapore race. Napola and John had the most incredible battle, and they were going side by side around Singapore, but John was just covering his lines perfectly without being aggressive at all. He puts himself in a position on track where it's so hard to get past him, and even for some of the most skilled drivers in the league it proves a very difficult task. So we've seen with John that he's a very good driver, consistent as well. So Dobby has his work cut out, and then they find themselves 22 seconds behind the top 5. So I think now 6th is as good as you're going to get unless there's some issues. There we go, Josh McGill's gone.
Tired.
He has.
I think he's just retired, yeah. He's gone into the wall. He's gone off. Lost the wheel.
Interestingly, Ox has got a 3-second time penalty. Fuzzer's got past him now. So Fuzzer finds himself in P2. Sorry for missing that. Pagani finds himself up into P8, which is good to see. You go, girl. And John's run wide, and Dobby is through. So there we go. Just as I talk about consistency, John decides to make a mistake.
We've done that a few times.
I know, commentator's curse.
Yeah.
And if we're going to go on this sort of consistency and luck, I'm going to say that I'm never going to be rich in my life. And let's hope. Commentator's curse kicks in. No, it's worth a try, isn't it?
It certainly doesn't work. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I could wish for a knob extension as well. There we go. Anyway, DRS has been enabled. So, who are we going to see dive into the pit? So, perfect timing for the likes of Ox, Fuzzer, NR. The only person who's missed it is George Alice. So, George Alice is in a real predicament. Well, he's had to. The DRS hasn't been enabled until he's gone past the final corner. So, interestingly enough, Ox has gone into super soft tyres. Fuzzer, Be Smooth, NR have gone onto softs. So George Alice on the intermediate tyres. How is that? Yeah, Dobby's come in as well. So, where is that going to put George Alice after all this?
Well, it's 32.9 at the moment, isn't it? That's going to drop.
32.9, that's going to drop, isn't it? So,
it is dropping quite quickly.
Yeah, it's coming down by several tenths for every corner. 31.9, 31.7.
Do you reckon he's going to go soft or super soft, George?
I think he probably will. But then again, he's going to see on his screen that second place has gone soft and third have gone supers. And I think he might copy Fuzzer, because he knows obviously Fuzzer is the championship leader, so I think he might know he knows what he's talking about. So as George Alice comes in, bit of a wobble as he goes into the pit lane. Josh McGill's left the session. So we're on board with Fuzzer as it currently stands. Let's see how that fares for him. Yeah, George Alice has actually gone to super soft tyres.
Super soft.
But what this does do, even if George Alice gets out in front of... Oh, Pagani's gone. No way. So George Alice leaves the pit, so he comes out in front of Fuzzer. So it's not...
Is that going to be a full safety car?
I'm not sure. Where is Pagani's car?
Right in the middle of the track.
Right in the middle of the track. By logic, it should be. With Codemasters, it probably won't be.
Six seconds, George, over Fuzzer at the moment.
Dobby finds himself in P6. Yep, so Dobby finds himself in P6. So, yeah, considering he started last, it's damage limitation for him. Okay, so there's not really any close battles on track now, really. The closest one we have got. Yeah, very strange. There we go. So, consistency from Codemasters there, which is always reassuring. We've got 12 runners. I'll take you through a quick breakdown of the positions as they currently stand. So we've got George Alice in the lead, who leads from Fuzzer, from Ox in P3, with NR just behind him in 4th. We've got Beast Move in 5th, and Dobby's made his way up from last to 6th place, so a good result from him so far. John down in 7th, Whiskey in 8th, Pubster Andy in 9th after his wobble earlier on in the race, with Napper in 10th. And in the final two runners we've got Lennon and J-Bob, who will eventually be 12th after he's unlapped himself from Pagani. Pagani the most recent retirement, and then just behind him we've got Josh McGill, Woods, Katamise, Corey and Sever, who unfortunately all DNF'd in the race. So 12 runners left with 6 laps to go. It should prove to be an interesting end to the race. We're going to see some dry tyres, we're going to see some quicker drivers. Let's see if anything interesting happens towards the end, but a lot of the guys are fairly spread out now, so I'd imagine there shouldn't be too many changes towards the end of the race.
Just brought up the fuel telemetry. Fuzzer's got a little bit of fuel to play with. It's only a little bit, but 0.7 of a lap.
Okay, what's George Alice got?
It was 0.19 at the moment. He's in standard mix.
Oh, okay.
So look, yeah. Fuzzer's rich at the moment.
So the closest battle on track as it currently stands is Napala on the back of Pubster Andy. So let's go and join that battle. sets the fastest lap of the race on the, with a 1:37.7. Pub Strand is on the soft tyres, so there we go. Lennon sets the fastest lap on the softs now.
Yeah, this track is drying up. You're going to see that tumble, I think.
Okay, so as it currently stands, Michael, can you see much changing within the top three?
There's 5 laps left. Probably not. I think that 5.5 is just a bit too much for maybe.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of fuel. Right, I've actually used a bit of that now. 0.48. George 0.1, so I think it's perhaps a bit too much. He's got to take a second out of him every lap, hasn't he? So
yeah,
maybe George staying out just a bit longer, so you have that extra lap to get the super softs on, make sure they're good enough for the rest of the race. Maybe that was a good choice.
Yeah, it proves a decent decision. So yeah, logical thinking. Or other than that, it was just pure luck on the fact that Jeff didn't tell him DRS was enabled, but you never know. Some things are just meant to be. Right, interestingly enough, where is John? Because he has got himself up towards the back of Dobby, so Dobby might have made a mistake somewhere, or either that or John is absolutely flying. So let's go on board with the Red Bull driver.
John has so much fuel spare. 2.3 laps extra.
Really?
Yeah.
So there we go. So I'd imagine John to mount a serious challenge onto Dobby very quickly.
George has set the fastest lap so far of the race.
Yeah, so I can't see much change unless there's any mistakes. So a bit of an up and down race so far. We tend to have a lot of action in sort of one lump sum, and then there's not been too much else to talk about. But as it currently stands, Fuzzer is going to extend his lead. He's currently 1 point clear. He's going to get 18 points from this race, and Dobby being in P6, he's going to get 8 points if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
John is right on the back of Dobby at the moment.
Yeah, I'm got on board with him right now, so John's going to have a look up the inside.
Yeah, got him.
Yeah, he's got him comfortably. So
yeah,
Dobby,
easy,
Dobby drops down to P7.
So much fuel to play with, as John. So Whiskett has been setting that fastest lap quite a lot.
There he has, hasn't he? Well, as it currently stands, Dobby is going to finish with 6 points from this race, and Fuzzer's going to have 18. So going into round 17, Fuzzer's going to be 13 points clear. So Dobby really needs to perform, and he needs to finish in front of Fuzzer for a couple of races now. The championship will be in Fuzzer's hands going into the final few races of the calendar and of the championship. Yeah, John certainly is. He looks like a
DRS
man on a rampage. I must admit, for all of the things that Codemasters have got wrong with this game, this new spectator mode is pretty impressive. And it's very,
isn't it?
Yeah, very good from a commentary point of view as well, because it enables you to see exactly what's going on, changing all of the time. It's yeah.
1.7 seconds now, Dobby. 1.8. John's just pulling away that
yeah.
rich fuel mix. Just burning that fuel up.
Yeah, it's proven its worth. Dobby's going to be cursing inside that helmet of his, I think.
On the lower tyre as well, John. On the soft tyre.
Yeah, he is. So impressive. Very, very impressive. So they're on soft tyres. Let's have a look at how position changes, if I can find it. There we go. So the biggest improver is Dobby. He's got P7. And then most of the guys on track, apart from Fuzzer and Pub Strani, have improved. on their positions, which is good to see. Lennon unfortunately looks like he's just going to miss out on the points tonight, which is a real shame. Napper on the back of Pubster Andy, well, about half a second to wait, so he's going to be putting the American under some pressure.
Got B Smooth catching, almost catching it out as well. It went down to under a second.
Okay, so we've got yellows in sector 1. They get flashing up on mine, so whether that's a glitch or not, I'm unsure.
I haven't seen anything on mine, I'm afraid.
No, me neither.
Oh, no, there is a slow Ferrari. I wasn't focused on him, I don't know who it is.
Is that J-Bob?
I think it is. Yeah, unless he was letting him pass. I mean, I was on the broadcast camera.
He's lost half his front wing.
Yes, he has. Sorry, yeah, I missed that.
Okay, Whiskey is lagged out now.
Yeah, he was setting some good laps with Whiskey.
Yeah, so that's good news for Pubster Andy and Napola. And potentially Lennon, depending on if Whiskey can rejoin the session. Pubster Andy's ran wide there and allowed Napola to go through, so excuse the pun, but he has caught him napping.
Nice.
I know. Good that, wasn't it?
And Napola's opponent was in the pub, I suppose, when he did that. That was a little bit scary.
That's good effort. Ah, Lennon's retired. So
we're
Smooth
was half a second away from an R, but he's just picked up a 3-second penalty. For all that
oh
work.
no.
It's undone.
Just had a thought, George Ellis has a penalty, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. I think
does he have
one though?
Is only one?
It was 3 seconds, yeah. That could have probably saw well. He might have asked Jeff if he had any penalties, but
yeah, might have come up, but you never know. He's got to race to the end to find out these things. Pubster Andy on board with him going through 130R into the final chicane. Napola seems to be pulling away from him, so the erratic Pubster Andy looks like he's going to be coming home in 9th place. Yeah, John's pulled a 1.6 second gap to Dobby.
is he still in rich mode? Yeah, he's still got 1.39 laps left.
Nice.
Fuel.
So, I think what we're going to do is for the final. Oh, there we go. Fuzzer's lagged out on the final lap.
No.
Although Ox is 7.5 seconds behind him.
Mind you, it's just dropped a second and a half, 2 seconds. Ox could take this, second place.
He certainly could. He's coming down a lot quicker. 4.1. Oh wow. Okay. So this is
Oh, 2.5. Wow. Yeah. Here we go.
amazing news for Dobby, because there we go. So
yeah.
Ox is through. So I'd imagine NR's. Well, he's just rejoined now. But it depends how quickly he can get back into his car, because you've got NR and B Smooth now. They're going to get him. They're going to get him. NR is through. B Smooth is through. So Fuzzer now is only going to...
Could we see that Dobby could take him? Is that gap too much?
Yeah, 31 seconds.
This is the computer.
There we go. Fuzzer's just got back in the car now. So 25 seconds away from John. So as it currently stands... Well, and B Smooth put in NR under heaps of pressure now to claim that final podium spot. Not sure about penalties, but we're going to take a look. Could he get him? I'm sure he's going to take a lunge into the final corner. George Alice takes the victory. Unfortunately, we didn't see him cross the line. He's going to take a look. NR runs wide. Oh. NR's going to hold it. He's going to hold it.
Yeah.
Unlucky, good driving from the guys there.
Race.
Certainly was from them two. So George Alice takes the win. Fuzzer drops down to P5 after all of that. So he's only going to pick up 10 points and Dobby's going to get 6. so he's only going to be 5 points ahead now going into round 17. So well, that's ended a lot more crazy than what we first expected.
Yeah.
So as we wait for Napa and Pubsarani to just finish off their races, then we'll run through the final classifications. Unfortunately, we had 7 retirements this evening in the shape of Lennon, Pagani, Josh McGill, Woods, Katamise, Corey and Sever. J-Bob finishes just outside the points in P11, and then we will run through the final standings as they appear once Napala and Pubsarani finish off their final laps. And there we go. Okay, so just as it loads the podium celebrations, George Ellis takes the top step with, was that Ox I believe in P2, and NR rounding off the top 3. George Ellis, well deserved first place today. Champagne sprays, and it's time for them to relax. So final classifications are George Ellis takes the win from Ox in 2nd place, and then NR in P3. Be Smooth has a good solid race, finishes in P4 with Fuzzer behind in P5. Dobby jumps John into P6, so Dobby gets 8 points, Fuzzer gets 10. There's only 3 points difference between the two of them now. Wow. So that has worked out an absolute dream for Dobby. In the end, neither him or Fuzzer getting penalties. So, and John picking up that one which he was on board with. And then we've got Napala, who made up from P15 to P8. And then Pubs to Randy, and I'm not sure, I think there might be Wiskit possibly, rounding off the final point scoring positions. And we mentioned the non-finishers earlier on. So, just quickly, Michael, who was your driver of the day today?
Driver of the day, there's so many. You could pick Dobby, 12 places up the grid. Napa had a good drive, no penalties, 15th to 8th, but I think you got to go with George. That extra lap staying out was probably what just separated him. He had the super soft tyre, so. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, no, exactly. So very intermittent race, I think. A lot of incidents and a lot of action in small doses, and then just admiring the guys driving around the beautiful Suzuka circuit in other spells of that. But thank you very much for commentating tonight, Michael, alongside me. I thoroughly enjoyed your company, mate.
Thank you for having me. It's been brilliant. Great race.
Wicked. So yeah, so well done to the guys. I'm not sure whether you will see me again anytime soon, ladies and gentlemen, but you never know. You never know. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, catch up with the Division 2 race from last night in Suzuka, and make sure you watch it tomorrow night as well, when Shane will be commentating with whoever will be alongside him. Thank you very much, enjoy your evenings, and we'll see you later.